Middle East AI News, December 2nd. Welcome to Middle East AI News, December 2nd. Here's a summary of some key Middle East technology stories from the week. For more detail, more stories and lots of useful links, check out the full text version of Carrington Malin's LinkedIn newsletter. NEOM forms urban air mobility joint venture with Volocopter. NEOM, the futuristic mega-city development in northwestern Saudi Arabia, has formed an urban air mobility joint venture with German aircraft manufacturer, Volocopter. According to the official announcement, the new company will design, implement, and operate the world's first bespoke public vertical mobility system in NEOM. The joint venture will initially be the sole operator of public transit routes across the city, eventually enabling an open electric vertical takeoff and landing ecosystem for urban air mobility services. The NEOM joint venture is the first concrete deal in the Middle East for the German eVTOL company. And it says that this includes a confirmed order for 15 aircraft to commence initial flight operations within the next 2 to 3 years. Volocopter carried out test flights in Dubai in cooperation with Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority in 2017, but the authority's urban air mobility plans are dependent on new legislation for unmanned aerial vehicles currently under development. The electric vertical takeoff and landing pioneer has also been laying the groundwork for an air taxi service in Singapore for some years. In September, Volocopter announced that it would sell 150 electric vertical takeoff aircraft to its joint venture in China, which it formed with a unit of automaker Zhejiang Geely Holding Group. Geely is also an equity investor in the German company. China, of course, is the urban air mobility industry's single biggest country market opportunity. And Volocopter aims to deliver the 150 aircraft to China within the next 3 to 5 years as air taxi services are introduced. The Saudi joint venture will develop air taxi and vertical logistics services that will be fully integrated with the overall multimodal and zero-emission public transit system in NEOM. 10 of the initial eVTOL aircraft will carry passengers, while 5 will be used for freight logistics. Volocopter's Volodrone is designed to carry payloads weighing up to 200 kilograms, over a 40-kilometer range. Over a period of time, the joint venture company will develop an open eVTOL ecosystem that enables mobility services for logistics, emergency response and tourism. Khalifa University deploys its first driverless campus shuttle. Khalifa University has deployed an autonomous 12-seater shuttle bus on its Sand campus in Abu Dhabi, in another UAE autonomous vehicle initiative. There have now been a number of AV trials in Abu Dhabi, Ajman, Dubai, and Sharjah. However, it's noteworthy that this autonomous vehicle uses technology actually developed by the university's Autonomous Vehicles Lab. The Khalifa University Center for Robotics and Autonomous Systems, also known as KU CARS, is developing a variety of research projects including a self-driving car prototype, jointly developed with the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. KU and the Korean University launched joint smart transportation research projects in 2019. Meanwhile, last month, 2 teams from Khalifa University took first and second place for their innovative ground vehicle and drone concepts at the second Dubai World Challenge for Self-Driving Transport. The university also recently won the right to host the Middle East's first ever IEE, RSJ International Conference on Intelligent Robots and Systems, or IROS, one of the world's key robotics research conferences, in Abu Dhabi in 2024. Khalifa University's new driverless shuttle will transport students and staff around the Sand campus in a mixed road traffic environment, sharing the road with conventional road transport. The AV detects and avoids potential obstacles using onboard sensors, LiDAR cameras, GPS, odometry and inertial measurement units. The AV shuttle is also equipped with onboard Wi-Fi to capture data generated during operation. The UAE's new data law will come into force in January. First announced in September, it has been confirmed by the UAE government that the new federal data protection law, to be known as the UAE Data Law, will come into effect on January 2, 2022. The Federal Decree Law No. 45 of 2021 regarding the protection of personal data was issued in September 2021, as part of a comprehensive legislative reform project, which either amends or enacts over 40 other laws. The law will have far-reaching impact on the collection and use of personal data, where previously only specific industry sectors such as banking and healthcare have had legislation governing their use of personal data. Significantly, the UAE Data Law will have extraterritorial reach, similar to the European Union's GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. So, the law will apply those collecting and processing the data of UAE residents within or outside the country itself. Obviously, The law prohibits the processing of personal data without the consent of the individual. The law also requires that organizations collecting data must make it clear why they are collecting that data and then limit its use to the purpose or purposes disclosed. Given the past few years of rapid growth and adoption of data analytics across the region, the new legislation is going to have an impact on many businesses in the UAE and elsewhere. Organizations in the UAE's commercial sector have often used GDPR as a global guideline, 1. To ensure that they meet EU requirements and, 2. To ensure they are better prepared for new data protection laws, such as this one. However, the data governance policies of many companies rely heavily on website consent forms and legal disclaimers. In order to be able to commit to individuals that their data will only be put to pre-approved uses, data collectors must first ensure that they have the right governance for their whole data supply chain. With many organizations still working on how to connect, share and leverage years' worth of data, they will need to have certainty on how it was collected, why it was collected and what purpose data sets are being used for across the business. In fact, expect to see a lot more job ads for data protection officers next year. These are the top stories for this week. Do scroll through the full Middle East AI news on LinkedIn to read more about these stories and other breaking emerging tech news from around the region. Thanks for listening.